that's a lot of Dilos. Dang, that's a lot of them. Okay, well, I'm not fully grown, but maybe I can kill one of them. At least that juvie, in case I need to run.
Alright, I would like to present my final iteration of my Dilo Rework concept. It has been incomplete, had missing parts to it, things that still didn't really work out, but now we have the full recipe that the devs can just copy paste and it would work. I have to credit the community, as the comments on my videos and the feedback I've received in my own Discord, together with my own understanding of the game, has kind of led to this new version of Dilo, like it's all intertwined. I've also taken consideration to people saying like, please don't break the Dilo, but we have to change crucial parts of it, in my opinion, as one thing everyone can agree on is that this is a really boring way to die currently to the clones, because you're fighting AI instead of having to fight the player that's controlling the Dilo. So let's instantly get to the point and not waste your time. So yeah, first let's see what we got currently, right? Here we have the Dilo and its mechanics. The Dilo, a 700 kilogram creature that runs 74.5 kilometers an hour, with a generous growth time and a very wide palette of AI on its diet. It has two attacks, normal attack and the alt bite, and with its right mouse button it can send out clones based on the charges available on prey that has been envenomated. Biting prey injects the venom. This gets amplified at night, but in a nutshell, the weight of a target depends how much venom they have to inject before prey becomes envenomated to the point where they can send out their hallucinations. And we have the color system in the sense system, where a target glows bluish or greenish, proceeding to glow purplish when it's envenomated to the point where clones can be sent out to deal range damage to the player. This version of Dilo either overperforms or the clones break and the Dilo underperforms. There's just no gray area where the devs have managed to balance it, and they have tried. And this is where we're going to start tweaking things to try to get a balanced playable. And the first thing required to balance it is to add more layers of complexity to this dinosaur. I've seen people say like, yo, keep it simple, because, for the devs. But that just leads to this black and white situation where it's either doing too good or not good enough. So adding layers creates a chance for the gray area of balance to exist in the first place. I will first lay out the changes and then I will address voices of concerns on the changes afterwards. So just sit tight till the end and you will get the full picture. Just don't be that guy who comments without realizing that I have touched upon your concern later down the line. Yeah, let's just get into it, I guess. First of all, we keep the clones, like we need them, and the entire system is kept intact where things glow a certain color when using scent, and being able to send out clones using the charges, all that good stuff. However, we remove the damage that clones deal and bring that down to zero. And we introduce something extra in order to regulate this mechanic, and this is the first real change that will be more challenging. Secondly, we are adding a venom meter by adding another blood drop symbol and changing the venom damage from being visually represented by the clones to a simple damage over time based on how much venom has been injected. Additionally, we factor in weight. If something is small, it gets injected with way more venom than a bigger creature if it gets bit. And this is to balance the Dilo against the rest of the roster, and is equally logically representing how venom works in the animal kingdom. Bigger things are still affected, but less than the smaller things. And then with these two mechanics, we now have the basis for a few things that we can now effectively regulate. Things such as damage over time intensity, the volume of the passive clones, and the ability to send out clones, as you can now add in a threshold into the venom meter where the damage goes up, the amount of passive clones that spawn go up, and thresholds for the color system where a target starts to glow based on how much this meter has been filled up. And I think the math behind filling the meter should be based on the target's weight. in order to balance it out quite nicely and wide across the board. And the math could work simple as well, where you simply do the following formula. So basically this is the math, where I consider the weight of the dilo. This could vary, like if the dilo is smaller, then this will obviously change this. But let's say we do it with 4 adults and then the rest should balance automatically, right? Um, what I've essentially done is just dilo, divide that by the target's weight, and then divide that number, because it has to be below 1 for, 1 is 100%, so I had to divide it again to balance it out. I landed on a number 6, and that would fill up the meter 25% per bite, like if it would be a body hit, right? Head hit would do double, tail base would do half of that, and I think this is just a very straightforward multiplier for the venom. So these are not the multipliers for the actual damage, because that is already in the game and already determined. This is just for the venom. Then during night this gets doubled. It's very, very straightforward, this formula. Then here I rounded it up, so in case of, for example, let's say you bite a hipsy, to keep things balanced, I made sure that, oh, I see an error here, let's fix that real quick, boom. Let's fix that here real quick too, boom. So that you get capped at 100% if it exceeds 100%. And pretty straightforward all. So let's take a look, like Omni, because it's at the top of the list, not because I love it. If you would bite it that day, you would get a 50%, well 51 to be exact, let's put it here. Then that would mean you would do 0.5% to its health pool per second. So that makes time to kill 196 seconds, time to heal it 182 seconds. Keep in mind you're biting the Omni, so he probably has less HP than the time to heal that this would kill the Omni. Yeah, it's still pretty good. And if you bite him at night, then he gets 100% and he is cooked. He's absolutely cooked. Because time to kill 100 seconds, so you would need 3 times that amount to heal it. So that's pretty balanced on the things that it can fight with and keep it off its back, considering how strong the pounds can be. Let's say you fight something more in your own weight class, a Carno. It's heavier than you, so it has the advantage. Your bites do a lot less, unless you bite it in the head. This would give it 35. Immediately, it would decline like this, like 0.3 rounded up per second. So time to heal is 125 seconds. Time to kill 286 seconds. But if you bite him in the head, oh wait, this is already the head. So this gives Carno like a bit of survival chance. Let's say you bite him twice, then you pretty much put 70 on him. Time to kill 143, time to heal 250. You will kill the Carno with this. Just from damage over time. It's pretty strong. So in a way this is buffing it, but here's the kicker, right? The time to kill would be 143 seconds. That's more than 2 minutes. There are external factors, such as gastro. So if the Carno gets away from you, it has 2 minutes to heal up. If it has this mutation running, it could find an AI, it could heal right through that 5% per byte, 10% per byte, depending on server configuration. There's a chance, you can survive. Same for the Omni actually, because time to kill would be a bit above that. Even with this high of a thing, you still have more than 2 minutes to get away from the Dilo and to Gastro. Like, there is a way to get out of it. There's an out of jail card. And the devs are not going to remove this mutation, otherwise it would already have been removed. So this is already a meta mutation, but it would become an even stronger meta mutation with this iteration. Equally though, if it bites something that is heavier, let's say a Dibble. If it bites it on the head, it almost does no venom, because that's where they defend. But on the body, 7% per bite. Let's say you bite it twice or 3 times. 21. Time to kill is still not there. It can heal it off. So you would have to work for it. And this is where the hallucinations come into play, because at 15% you already get 3 of them that keep doing their thing. Or keep in mind, like, you need to be purple to send out your own clones on top of it. But this would already create openings. And you can keep biting it, like even with a Rex. Let's just scale it up, or even with a Trike. Although Trike's gonna be tough, because it's really tanky, and you're just not gonna do a lot to it. But the Rex, for example, you would do 5% per headshot. Say you bite it 5 times. See what happens. Somehow on the head. Now you're not killing it. So it's kind of balanced. Like, the Apex will not just roll over and die because you bit it. You have to work for it. It becomes quite a fight. But let's say you bite it 10 times in the head somehow. Let's throw this up to 50, right? Because this is what the venom intensity is for. Suddenly, that Rex is in trouble, because you've been biting it as well, so you've been dealing damage to it. This is based on 100% HP, right? So from 100%, it would take 200 seconds to die and 180 to heal. However, you've been biting it, so this will probably line up or probably exceed, time to kill will probably be lower than the time to heal. So there's a way to go about it. And additionally, I think that venom should not be infinite. So we get to the next thing. Okay, so that was just an hour of my time to do the math, so the devs could easily do that. It's not anything crazy. And it doesn't seem broken to me at all, and it keeps things relatively fair. But now we still gotta change one thing, as the Dilo currently has an unlimited amount of venom. And as you guys probably already know, venomous creatures, so not poisonous but venomous, have a limited supply of venom. So how can we give the Dilo a limitation on its venom? And the answer is simple. We just add the bow mechanic that Sarah currently has. Just instead of having to eat to fill up this bow meter, we can recolor it to a dark green tint for the venom team and call it a venom meter, just that accumulates venom over time. Then this venom gets consumed upon biting the prey, unless you bite their tail tip, because that does 0 and it's pointless. And I think having it restore like 5.6 per minute is pretty decent, and having it lose 5% per bite is also pretty decent. That gives you a total of 6 in-game hours to recover it, and it might also aid in keeping the Dilo nocturnal, because at night their venom is more potent than at day, so they shouldn't waste it during the day. And it might help motivating them to stay in their lane, if you know what I mean. And yeah, basically a ball meter, accumulate over time. It's your venom supply, and with that you can inject prey with it. It's pretty straightforward. Other changes I would do is I would reduce their bite speed. I don't think they need their current bite speed because you just get on target and you just vum, and it's just that's insane. I would nerf their bite speed to match a Cardinal's bite speed, you know. And from there on out, I think we actually have a working dialogue. Um, I did promise that I would answer some of the concerns, and I'm going to do that. Might even go through my comment section to answer them. But off the top of my head, there's been one concern that I really want to address. That is the point where people say, like, don't complicate the dialogue and don't break the dialogue. So I want to stress it again, like, this is a buff and a more fun way to play the dialogue, in my opinion. Maybe you enjoy it that you bite something and you just mash your right mouse button like a crazy person and just see something die and you're like, haha, nice. That's cool, you know. Like, if that's your thing, then that's your thing. I cannot help you with that. But for the game, it is in general really unhealthy that it is like that. That is also the main reason why I am proposing this idea. All right, concerns and answers. First one is that clone AI are not good enough to make others think that it's the real one, and it's not good enough for baiting. And to that, I have to say that I see this brought up often, and I completely disagree with it. And for one reason. When you are envenomed, you can maybe see about 10 meters around you. So if a Dilo comes running in, you just don't have enough time to fact check if it's a clone or a real Dilo. And since they mimic the skin of the real Dilo, and additionally the player can mimic the behavior of the clone, I don't think that it matters. You just don't have the time to fact check that. And one thing I would like to see return, however, is that the clone tree calls before going in. So this kind of made it easier for players to mimic the clone, so they should probably put that back in, as they currently come running in from a blind angle, and 9 out of 10 times you don't even see the clone until you get hit by it. But yeah, basically disagree with that. Second one is that Dilo does not have the agility to bait attacks like other dinos do. And this is where the clones come in, really. They should exist to create these attack windows, and additionally, the first attack should either make your target hallucinate, or if it's a heavy creature bigger than you, then you should bring pack members to get multiple angles of attack on your target. This actually balances the dialogue versus bigger dinosaurs. You cannot just solo everything. Then I see another concern brought out is that Dilo needs its fast bite speed because of hitbox issues. And this could be true, but I believe this has been fixed to some extent. Either that or I get hit by Bluetooth hits somehow. But I'm not a fan, in general, of roundabout solutions to a problem. So if the hitbox is broken and the problem, then the hitbox needs a fix and not to compensate it in another area. Its bite speed is insanely broken. If you can bite something in a face tank and just end the fight with that instantly, that is no brain. You know, that's brain dead. That's broken. Um, and then a big one, like the clones are its mechanic, asking me why I can't just deal with that, why I have to keep complaining about it. Well, dying to it and being salty is one thing, but my main concern here is that there is a huge lack of interactivity, and that's pretty much the whole reason that I hate it. It is no fun that the dialogue can attack you for free, while you cannot hit it back at all or even get a chance to make a skillful play. You cannot defend yourself. Then there's the issue of being killed from the grave, because three clones that were stuck on a tree suddenly free themselves and fly right into you after you kill the dino. And the nuking aspect is what I have a problem with. So if I get envenomated, got 2 minutes till I die, even if I kill the Dilo, but have options available to me to prevent it, it would not leave such a sour taste in my mouth. At that point, I have simply failed to beat the clock, instead of getting nuked while I was otherwise fine. And yes, I understand that this is mainly a raptor issue, since they get hit really, really hard by the clones compared to other dinos. However, I also don't like how a Dino can face tank a Carno or a Sarah while running congenital hypogasia and barely getting away with it while the Carno or Sarah is purple during broad daylight and kind of doomed to die afterwards. This is also why I think the bite speed needs a nerf, so it cannot inject that much venom in such a brain-dead approach to the fight. It's no, it's not okay. So it is to promote more interactivity, make Dilo more technical, and adding a skill ceiling at the same time. Because right now, there is no skill ceiling. If you play Dilo and you feel like, oh, I'm so good at it, bro, my grandmother can do that. Not to come at you, but it is. So I'll also go briefly over all the dinosaurs in the spreadsheet I cooked up, so you can have a quick look at all the data. If you need to look at it a bit longer than I display it, I advise that you pause the video and yeah, let's go. Let me show you guys all the goodies.